Going to work isn't about filling my cup, it's about what's going on for the people.
Can you tell them what HoMie is?
HoMie is a streetwear label and a social enterprise. I'm wearing a HoMie tee right now and socks. Look at that. There you go.
Oh, wait. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Welcome to Humans of Australia Unfiltered, Steph. It's so lovely to have you here today.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited.
I'm excited to have you because honestly, I did do a little research before you came here.
You stalked me?
Oh, yes. I wanted to say stalk, but I was being subtle, to be very honest. I was like, someone recently said, don't say stalk because it sounds creepy. I was like, okay, fine.
You can stalk me, that's chill.
Yeah. I did stalk you. Full on. I don't know, you might have got a notification. Someone's viewing your profile. It was Sarah. That was me.
Like 3 or 4 times in the last day.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay. I see you, Sarah.
I was like, I need to stalk her.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then I stalked you and you started your journey as a journalist and now you're a CEO in just 10 years. That's like huge. Yeah. You're someone that I aspire to be and I look up to be very honest. So it's so glad to have you here.
Thank you. That's so kind of you to say, but you're a CEO too. So
I'm just a tiny CEO compared
Me too.
So humble. Guys, if you want to Google what HoMie is, you'll know how tiny of a CEO she is. But no.
Thanks for the kind words.
Oh, anytime. But before we get into all of this, I would love to know, where you're from and how did you end up in journalism?
Yeah. So I'm from Adelaide, South Australia, God's country. Grew up there, was born there. I spent a couple of years of my life living in the Northern Territory.
Okay.
Both of my parents work in healthcare.
Okay.
And we went and lived in a place called Nhulunbuy, which is in Arnhem Land. It's like the northernmost point of Australia.
Okay. How was that?
Unbelievable. Like the most extraordinary experience. I think I was 10 to 12 years old there.
Okay.
So we spent a couple of years, my parents working in healthcare there and really got this incredible look into, I guess, a first-hand look at Indigenous culture and has, on a tangent here already, but has really kind of the foundations of my love and respect for the First Peoples of Australia. So other than that, I spent all of my childhood in Adelaide.
Okay.
And I went to uni to study to be a journalist.
Why a journalist out of everything? Your parents were in healthcare. Wasn't like usually when your parents are in something, you're like, okay, fine, I'll do the same thing. It seems not so bad.
Mm-hmm. And my twin sister is in healthcare too. So that's...
Do you have an identical twin or
fraternal?
Oh,
fraternal.
okay.
Yeah. We look like sisters, not like twins.
Okay.
But my brother and I didn't go into healthcare. So I don't know. I've always just been really the things that I'm good at are writing and connection and relationships and humans. I'm not a math brain.
Okay.
I'm not a math or a science brain. It's not how I operate.
Yeah.
And I was just always really good at writing and really good at English. And I didn't know what I wanted to do when I finished school.
Yep.
So I thought,
journalism,
journalism, I'll give that a crack.
Okay.
So that's the path I ended up going down initially when I finished school.
That makes total sense. And I feel when you're 16, it's a decision given to you for your life.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that's not an age that you should allow someone to make a decision for their lifetime.
It's so weird, isn't it?
It is so weird.
It is so weird. Nobody knows what they want to do with their life.
I don't know. I'm 27 and I'm not I'm doing great and I'm really happy. But I'm like, what if I'd done a different decision when I was 16?
Yeah.
My life would look so different and maybe I would have been happy or maybe not.
It's even earlier because you have to decide what you want to do in your last 2 years of school, subject-wise, when you're like 15.
Yes.
Which is wild. You just have no idea at that age.
And in grade 8, I was given the option either take commerce or science.
Yeah.
I was like, hell no, I'm not taking science. I don't want to study. I'm going to take commerce.
Yeah.
And that made my whole decision. There was a teacher. She loved me and she was one of the most strictest teacher. She's like, no, Sarah, you should take science. And I looked at her face and I started laughing. I'm like, you think I should take science? But I think maybe she did have a point. I do not disagree. But I think I was just like, I don't want to study.
Yeah.
And I just want to chill. But sorry, I can talk about me forever. What about
Can't
you?
relate.
So then journalism, how did that, you ended up working in journalism as well. What kind of journalism? Were you like this TV journalist or like a writer journalist? What journalism?
Yeah, much less sexy than a TV journalist. So my first real job out of uni was to go and work at a regional newspaper in South Australia called the Transcontinental in Port Augusta. And those country papers are really like the lifeblood of a country town. So
is it? How's it
really
different than like a big town, like a Melbourne newspaper or a Sydney newspaper?
It's very localized news, very localized information,
Yep.
and it's tailored to the community that it exists in. So the issues and the things you get to explore are very local and are really, really impacting and affecting the people that you meet at the grocery store or the people that are on your netball team or whatever it is. So it's a very, very different environment to a big newsroom.
Yeah.
But a lot of young journalists kind of cut their teeth doing that country stint.
Yeah.
And that's what
What do you mean by cut their teeth? Like, is
like where you learn, like your first go at it, your first job out of uni, your first crack at it, where you kind of learn the ropes and understand what it means to be a journalist. So I did that for about a year and a half, and it was. Are you familiar with Port Augusta? Do you know where that is?
No, I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, so it's about 3.5 hours out of Adelaide, north. And
how did you end up getting a job so far?
I just applied for it
everywhere
online. Yeah, because I mean, granted, this was like well over 10 years ago now, but at that time, journalism was super, super competitive, and it still is now because there's less jobs. So it was kind of an understanding between everybody at uni that if you wanted to get a job straight after uni, you would have to do a country stint, or you would have to go and spend some time somewhere that maybe you weren't anticipating you would have to. So I was really prepared to make the move. So I went to Port Augusta, 3 hours away from Adelaide, and worked at a country newspaper.
How was that experience, like living in Adelaide, which is obviously a bigger town than a country town, going to a country town and getting into the local issues, as you mentioned, it's way different. Was it very different of an experience? And plus you mentioned that you lived in the Northern Territory, which is also, I believe, a smaller city or a town.
Yeah.
So how was this experience shaping you?
Well, in my childhood in Adelaide, I grew up in the Adelaide Hills, so I was never living in the city. I was living in an area that, I mean, in Adelaide terms, it was far away, probably not in Melbourne
know about
terms.
Adelaide Hills, yes.
So I grew up in a beautiful country town called Uradla. And it had a really similar vibe. Like, it's a really small, tight-knit community. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody looks out for each other, friendly neighbours, all of that kind of thing. So it actually really didn't feel like a huge change for me. In terms of the way that community operates and how welcoming and friendly the people in Port Augusta were to me as well.
That's really nice. It felt like home to you, just a different location.
I think like at the time I was feeling really torn between Adelaide and Port Augusta. Like, I was doing a lot of travel back and forth because I had a partner at the time and I wanted to go back and see him and I wanted to see my friends. So every weekend I would get in the car and make the 3-hour drive down to Adelaide just to spend a couple of days with my family and my friends, and then I drive back up Monday to Friday. But it was
you're young, so you can do it. When you just graduate of uni and you have like those set of friends and partner and family.
I had the energy for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You can like stay up all night and yet go to work the next day. Like, I can't do it now. But
I made some really good friends as well.
Yeah.
There. So like one of the people that I worked with at the newspaper is still one of my really, really close friends, and she had the exact same experience, was like up there for a few years and was traveling back and forth a little bit, but we tried as much as we could to kind of be a part of the community and play local sport and be involved as much as we can.
Then how did you end up in digital marketing? You studied journalism, you worked in journalism. Next job of yours was in digital coordinator or something, but digital marketing, let's put it that way.
Yeah, my next move was so random, but in a really, really great way. So I'd been in Port Augusta for about a year and a half, and I just decided I was ready to take the next move, make the leap. And my partner at the time,
Hmm.
he and his mum were like obsessed with AFL, like
Okay.
completely, and Port Adelaide Football Club specifically. That
Okay.
was like, so Ruth, hey Ruthie, if you're watching, she's still an important person in my life. So his mum would just talk to me about football every weekend. Steph, you've got to get into football. You're going to love footy. And I just didn't grow up in a football household, right? It was it wasn't important. It was, the local footy on the weekend at your Adelaide Football Club was important.
Yep.
But like AFL was not an important thing in our household at all. But she kept saying to me, like, football's so important, you got to get into it. And I'd go, Ruth, whatever. It's not my cup of tea. It's not my thing. And then a job came up at the Port Adelaide Football Club, and she sent it to me and said, I think you should go for this job. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm not interested in football. That's not something that I would ever consider doing. And she kept at me. She kept in my ear. And I thought, okay, maybe I'll throw my hat in the ring for this. So I did, and I got the job.
Oh, wow.
And it was, a change from country newspaper journalism into working in like really fast-paced digital media in an AFL club. I'm still to this day, I'm like, I have no idea why they hired me, but but they put their faith in me, and it was kind of the change that I probably needed to set my career on a completely different path.
Did you become a footy fan after that?
Through and through.
Who do you support?
Port Adelaide, of course. The power. I got completely brainwashed, and now I'm a diehard Port Adelaide fan for life.
Oh, wow.
Who's your team?
I don't watch footy. But I've heard Geelong is good.
No, it's Port Adelaide. It's got to be.
Are you brainwashing me now?
Yeah. It's like everyone I meet now, I'm like, it's Port Adelaide.
Okay, fine. Port Adelaide for now.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I do want to watch footy, and I did have the opportunity to watch footy, but then I was just doing something. I had free tickets to footy.
You're busy being a boss gal.
Yeah.
Being a CEO.
I'm just busy, guys. Someday. But I do want to play footy. Like, I feel I'm made for footy. Like, I'm not sure. I think so. My understanding of footy is it's a very rough sport.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, just like, you get onto it, right? Like, onto anyone who comes in front of you. And you just get onto it, and the goal is to win.
Very physical. Very like a lot of running too.
A lot of running too, yeah.
It's like the kilometers that football players run going up and down the field is wild.
Yeah,
it's
true.
It's like cross-country running and wrestling.
Agreed. And then she's like, everyone knew I was faking it, but you couldn't say it if I was faking it because, I just made it look
like that's every sport though. Every sport.
Not racket sports.
True. But mixed netball.
I played netball. I loved it, but I don't know, I'm a little clumsy. I sprained my leg so bad that I got a hairline fracture.
Yeah, ankles and knees for netball.
Yeah.
Brutal. Yeah, I'm the same though. I get really bad white line fever. I'm like, I'm pretty like approachable, nice, normal in real life, and you get me on a netball court and I'm like on.
Yeah, same. I was also
I'm an Aries. It's competitive.
I'm a Capricorn.
Oh,
nice. When's your birthday?
28th of March.
Oh, I'm a 8 Gen.
What's a Capricorn supposed to be? Tell me about Capricorns.
So they're strong.
Mm-hmm.
Leadership apparently, and they get successful in life. Apparently.
To a T.
What are Aries like?
Competitive.
Okay.
Fiery.
Yes.
Leadership as well.
Hmm.
And I think they're supposed to be quite sensitive as well.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh,
very.
Then you're to a T as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
And
do you believe in the sunshine?
No.
No, I don't believe. I just believe the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't believe in it at all. It's just like a fun.
Yeah, it's like a fun thing. Like, I don't want to know anything negative, but I'll take the positives. Yeah. I hate it when people come to me and they're like, you know what, you Capricorn can be this and that. I'm like, listen, keep it to yourself. You might believe in it. I respect it, but don't tell me.
Oh, really? I don't mind it.
No, I don't like. Like I was.
Like, why are you so competitive? I'm like, it's because I'm an Aries. It's not me.
No, like
it's out of my control.
That is completely fine. But I was once in a flight, and someone was sitting next to me, and he started asking me about my birthday, what everything, and then he's like, oh, you shouldn't wear these colors, and you should not do things in these particular dates. And I'm like, listen, I don't want to know. And like, that is not okay.
That's not helpful.
Yeah, that is so not helpful. I hate when people do that.
Yeah.
I respect who believe in it, but I don't want to know because then I get very scared. I'm like, shit, he told me about it. And then it just plays in my head, even if it's not correlated.
Are you superstitious?
I'm not superstitious per se, but if someone tells me something and if something bad happens, maybe I'm like, shit, is it because of that reason? Like I'm like, I don't want to know. I'd rather live in the void. Yeah. And if things happen, that's okay. If things mess up, totally cool.
So you'll never go see a psychic?
No, I wouldn't. My best friend's sister-in-law, my best friend's sister-in-law, she's a really famous tarot card reader, like really, really famous, and she loves me. And she doesn't do any free readings for anyone, but she loves me, so she's like, Sarah, I'll do it. I was like, no, please. She's like, I'll pay you not to do it. I told her that. She's like, no, don't worry about it. We'll do it really nicely. And I'm like, anything comes up negative, don't tell me. Just tell me the positive. But it was actually a really good experience.
Okay.
But I would do it with her because like I trust her kind of a situation, but not with a random person.
I'll tell you a funny story.
Yeah.
So a couple of friends of mine from Adelaide went to see this psychic.
Okay.
And they went to see this same psychic and they both rang me. Like two of my best friends rang me and were like, oh my God, Steph, this is a life-changing experience. Like, I cannot believe how accurate this woman was. Everything she said was absolutely to a T. Everything that's gone on in my life, everything that I'm feeling, just 100% accurate, right? And at this point I wasn't having a great time and I was looking for something, right? I was like searching for some meaning in my life. So I agreed to have this session with this psychic and she could not have been more wrong about everything. And I'll never forget. She goes, she was talking about, so I've got a twin sister and a brother, right? Yep. An older brother. And she was talking about the relationships that I have with my siblings. And she goes, yeah, I'm sensing a really, really strong relationship with a sibling. You know, you're very, very similar to one of them. You've got a lot in common. There's a very strong bond there. But I wouldn't go as far as saying you're twins. You're definitely not twins, but you've got a very, very strong bond. And I'm like, we're literally twins. And then
she couldn't be more wrong.
Yeah. I'm like, that is so wrong. And then another one, she goes, she started talking about my paternal grandmother, who was dead and speaking to me from the afterlife. She was alive at this point.
Ouch.
And then the other one she said was, and I can tell, Steph, I know you want it all. You want a house, the white picket fence with the kids. I can sense that. That's what you want. And I've like lived my life flying the flag of never wanting to be married, never want kids.
I think
she just could not have been more wrong.
I think they use some of them, not all of them. Some of them use like those atypical things that people might have in common.
Yeah.
So it didn't work on you because you weren't the atypical person.
It was so awkward that I actually ended up just agreeing with her on things because I just wanted the session to end and I felt so bad that it was just so wrong.
Oh my God. What about the friends who went to her and they were like, she's so good? Did you like?
Yeah, I told them and they were like, wow, that has not been our experience at all. It was so wild.
Oh my God. That is so random.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah.
So haven't been to a psychic since.
I wouldn't go. it's like, I'm scared. What if it is and what if it's not?
Yeah.
What if they're saying few things that are right? I would say my life has few atypical things that others might also have in their life. So then they'll say that and I'll trust.
And you'll go, wow.
Yeah, I'll go, wow.
You know, my mom got told she was going to die in childbirth. Oh, isn't that hectic?
That is so, I hate, why do people say all these things?
Yeah, this psychic said to her, you're going to die in childbirth. So when she was pregnant with my brother, the whole pregnancy, she thought her life was going to end when she was giving birth.
That's the worst thing someone could feel. Yeah, that is so awful. I'm like, sometimes they should know how to talk. Sorry, psychics. Nothing against you. Yeah. No. We were just talking about Steph.
Yeah, we're on a real tangent.
Yeah. But anyway, coming back, I know you work at HoMie right now.
Yeah.
Is this where you met Marcus, who is the co-founder of HoMie?
Yes.
And he was a football player?
Yes.
Is this where you met Marcus?
So I didn't meet Marcus through football at all.
Okay.
Which is, it's funny because like I've got a bit of a past life in footy and he's got a past life in footy.
He was in Adelaide as well, right?
No, he was playing he was in the squad for GWS.
I don't know what that is.
The original in Greater Western Sydney.
Oh, okay.
So when that club started up.
Okay.
He was in like the original squad.
Okay.
I don't think he actually played any matches, but he was on the squad. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I remember talking to him when he was like, I went to Adelaide. Maybe he just went to Adelaide, not to
Oh,
play.
he probably played some preseason games in Adelaide or something.
Probably.
Yeah, but yeah, he's a big footy fan, so we
obviously.
we give each other a bit of shit about footy.
Is it?
He's a Swans fan. I'm a Port Adelaide fan. So like there was this one time in the office where Swans were playing Adelaide.
Oh my God.
And we made a bet, and it was like whoever loses has to wear a banana suit to work.
Who lost?
I lost.
Oh, that's how good Port Adelaide is.
So I do a banana suit to work. But yeah, that's I don't know Marcus through footy at all. It's all just been at HoMie. Yeah, met him through this amazing workplace of ours, and obviously he's one of the co-founders, so he's been there since the beginning.
Oh, that's really nice. And I did notice that after you left the Port Adelaide Football Club, you went to the Reach Foundation, the Big Issue.
Yeah.
And then you went to the Reach Foundation and now HoMie.
Yeah.
I've noticed like you've focused on impact-driven businesses. Is there a reason why you shifted, your career to impact-driven businesses?
Totally, yeah. So I was at
Was footy that bad?
No, footy was great. It was 5 years of working in digital media for an AFL club, which was like 24/7, and it was just go.
Is it that hectic?
Yeah, it's really hectic. And we're a 2-team town in Adelaide, so Port Adelaide and the Adelaide Crows. So there's a huge interest in both of the clubs.
Yep.
And it was just a really full on job. It was so much fun, like such a fun experience. Had such a good time. Towards the end, I was doing a lot of the traveling with the team as well. So it was like every second week I was traveling interstate to cover the interstate games. And after 5 years, I was just burnt out. I was like, I need to make a change here. Like it's time for the next thing. And I've always felt like Adelaide wasn't my permanent home. Like I needed to get out of there and do something different. So I could feel this kind of change brewing inside of me. Like I need to make a change with my work, and I need to make a change in just my surroundings and where I'm calling home.
Okay.
So I started looking for work in Melbourne because I've always loved Melbourne, and I felt like this.
I feel Melbourne, except the weather, it is the best.
I love the weather.
I hate winter.
Yeah, I hate the sun.
I love the sun. I love the sun and love the rain if it's not cold.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Mumbai. I don't know if you know what Mumbai. It's like it has very distinct weathers, and why I love it is because the humidity makes my skin glow.
Oh, I hate humidity. Wow, we're like opposites here.
Total opposites. But my hair doesn't frizz in humidity. Like if I go to any Asian country, my hair's not frizzy. It just gets straight and nice. And then I don't need to blow dry them. My skin starts glowing because of the sweat, but it just glows. So it works out like a twofold thing. I love that. And I hate wearing like jackets and sweaters, and that's so not my thing.
So humidity is like your natural state.
It is. Though I sweat like crazy, which totally suck at because I have these sweat patches, but my skin looks really good. So I'll take it.
Yeah, Melbourne is like absolutely freezing. Nothing could have prepared me for how cold Melbourne is.
I've heard Adelaide is equally cold.
No way.
No
way. It's like it gets cold, but nothing like Melbourne. Melbourne is like next level. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. But anyway, then you moved to impact-driven things.
Yeah. So then, I was thinking like when I was working in footy, I sat myself down one day and I was like, what do I really love about my job? What is the thing that really kind of lights my fire and makes me feel good? And it was more because I was never really into football, the game, right? And I was
not even after 5 years.
No, after 5 years I was.
Yeah.
But originally, if I kind of took myself back, I'm like, what is this kind of, what is my interest here? What is filling my cup?
Yep.
And it was more about the stuff that was going on off the field. So the ability that sport has to bring people together, to make people feel welcome.
Yep.
It's like a universal language that a lot of different people from different backgrounds and different life experiences can speak the same language. And that was kind of what interested me.
Okay.
And we had an arm of, there still is the arm of the footy club called Power Community Limited.
What's that?
It's I guess the community arm of the club where they go out and connect with community and promote the game and use the power of the game to do great things in the world. So
okay, like what? What do you mean
Like-
great things in the world?
there was an arm of Power Community Limited called the Power Aboriginal Cup.
Okay.
So it was a program that Paulie Vandenberg, who's now the head of diversity at the AFL, would run a program that was really designed to engage young Indigenous people with education,
Okay.
and using footy as the hook for that. There were programs like Power to End Violence Against Women. So players would go out and speak with young men about the importance of respectful relationships. And, all of this kind of stuff was really using the power of sport to engage with the community in a bit of a different way.
Yep.
And that was the stuff that I found more interesting than anything.
Okay.
And I sort of kept pulling that thread a little bit and was like, maybe an impact-led job is something that would really fit me well and I would feel good about. So, that's kind of how I made that decision. I started pursuing nonprofit job opportunities and I landed an amazing role at The Big Issue over in Melbourne, and that's when I made the move here.
Oh, lovely. And then how was your experience working from a fast-paced, I don't know if The Big Issue was also, again, fast-paced, from working in a fast-paced to something that is so impact-driven, that is The Big Issue. It does, I don't know completely about them, but I did read a little bit. It helps people with homelessness and different issues, like something similar, other issues, right?
The Big Issue is like the original, one of the first social enterprises in Australia.
Okay.
So it's a street magazine enterprise, and it provides work opportunities to people experiencing homelessness.
Okay.
They're able to sell the street magazine on the street and
I've seen that.
work their way out of their circumstances.
Yeah.
So it's employment. It's an employment opportunity for people that need it.
It's to help them people at least get on their feet, and then they can go ahead from there.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen it outside footy matches. The Big Issue, they're selling it. It's that, right?
That might be the record, actually. The AFL record, where they're like, get your record. But the vendors are everywhere.
I've seen someone wearing The Big Issue, like they wear it, right? And then they sell it on a small thing. It's nothing too big.
Yep. They're all over Melbourne. And it's over the years expanded nationally. So it's in every capital city in the country. It's a really well-established and well-loved social enterprise, and does extraordinary work. It's really good stuff. So I was really lucky to land a role there. And I think, it was a really interesting transition. I think how do I say what I mean? I mean, all nonprofits just run off of the smell of an oily rag, right? Like it's the resourcing is so tight, and so many people are wearing so many different hats and doing so many different things. But in a lot of ways, the footy club was a bit like that too. Like lots of people doing a million different roles, and everybody's go, go, go all the time. So I think that environment translated quite well. And I think also in nonprofit world, I think it's helpful to have people working in that space that come from commercial environments and are able to take some of those commercial learnings over into a nonprofit space to make sure that it is a really efficient organization.
Okay.
And that the organization is operating in a way that's going to deliver the best outcome, right? Yeah. So it was an interesting transition for sure.
That's really nice to hear. Is there I'm so sure there would be, but what is one moment that you remember working in The Big Issue and you were like, wow, this is amazing? One experience or a moment or something that you did that you were a part of?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was pretty special being a part of the 25th anniversary of The Big Issue. Just because of such a hallmark moment in that organisation's history, and be able to play a small part in that. But I think I remember the first vendor breakfast I went to at The Big Issue, which was, it's every fortnight when the magazine comes out, the editor and all of the vendors come together to talk about the new edition, what's in there, and it's a bit of a magazine launch, right?
Yep.
Every couple of weeks. And I used to love going down to those sessions and being able to just meet the vendors and hang out with them and learn about their stories. And I remember the first one I went to and just feeling, really, really impressed and in awe of these people that are working really bloody hard and taking the opportunity that's in front of them and really enjoying it while they're doing it. You know, lots of smiles, lots of laughs, and it just felt like a really special community to be a part of.
Oh, that sounds so wholesome.
Yeah. It's a really, really great organization. They're doing phenomenal work.
Big shout out to The Big Issue.
Big shout out to The Big Issue.
Yeah.
The OGs.
Yes, the OGs. Then you moved to The Reach. What made you do the transition? And how was the transition? Because they do also help people, young Australians, if I'm right.
Yeah.
And it's a little different than The Big Issue.
Totally.
So how was your experience moving to The Reach?
Yeah. So my next role was at the Reach Foundation, which is it's an organisation that runs workshops in schools and communities to empower young people to step into their own power, right?
Yep.
So it was founded by Jim Steins. Do you know Jim Steins? So he was a very, very famous and successful footballer that played for the Melbourne Footy Club.
Does he have a statue of himself in next to where
at the G? Yeah.
Yeah. I think I know him. Yeah. Don't know him, but I've seen a statue.
So he started this organisation, 30 years ago. And very sadly passed away from cancer. It was I think it was the 10th anniversary of his passing when I first started at Reach.
Okay.
And he's just started this extraordinary legacy of, like I said before, empowering young people to really understand who they are, what makes them tick. And it's really all about preventative youth mental health. So getting in front of young people, letting them explore who they are, have meaningful conversations, and setting them up with the tools and the skills to be able to navigate life's challenges later on in life when they come. So that was a really rewarding workplace as well.
Yeah. Was it a not-for-profit again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how was your experience out there? What were you a part of there?
Yeah, so I was kind of heading up the partnerships in the marketing space.
Yeah.
So a lot of the marketing campaigns, we did this big campaign called Round for Reach, which was in partnership with the Melbourne Football Club. So it was, again, sort of worlds colliding in this.
I was just going to say that. Like, footy's not going to leave you.
Yeah, I know. It's following me everywhere.
Yeah.
We had Round for Reach, which was this really big fundraising campaign in partnership with Melbourne Footy Club, where we were the charity partner for one of the matches every year. But I think more importantly, I got to work really closely with a lot of the facilitators at Reach, and the facilitators are young people employed by Reach to go out and speak to other young people. So, and that's kind of the model, right? It's not like a crusty old, health teacher going into a classroom talking to kids about their mental health. It's a young person going into a space and they're able to relate to young people in the same way.
It's like a sense of relatability. If a 30-year-old person talks to me, that'll make more sense to me than a 60-year-old person talking about mental health. I'll be like, who the hell are you? How do you even know what my mental health state is?
Exactly. It's that relatability.
Yep.
Speak the same language. They're wearing the same pair of shoes. It just is much more seamless. So the facilitators that work at Reach are doing pretty extraordinary work as well. Going out there every day, speaking to young people, breaking down barriers, having really challenging but important conversations. And that's, was also just a really special thing to be a part of, to see them do their thing. And the way that you see a room full of 16-year-olds like walking into a classroom, with their head down and headphones on, hoodie on, not interested, don't want to be a part of it. And then a few hours later, kind of emerging from that experience as really, really different versions of themselves is pretty incredible stuff to watch. So,
Oh, that's really beautiful. And what was a moment at the Reach that was like, wow, I've done great stuff?
Let me think. I think it would be, so there's a program at Reach called Heroes Day.
Okay, what's that?
Which is like a big event. They bring like hundreds of year 9 students into a big auditorium.
Yep.
And it's a big facilitated session when they pick people out of the crowd to come up on stage and speak about what's going on for them, this kind of thing. And I remember a time where a young person got up on stage and made a public apology to another young person in the room for how they'd made them feel. And it was a really raw, vulnerable, kind of changing moment for that young person where they were showing up in a completely different way to the way they were earlier in the day. And it's really powerful stuff. And the impact that made both on the two young people that were speaking to one another, but then also all of the other young people in the room on the day was pretty special.
Yeah. That is, it's not easy to, apologize, A, in front of so many people, B, recognizing your own fault. That's like the biggest thing.
Pushing your ego aside and going,
oh my God. And as a young person, there's so much ego. Yeah, like you're filled with ego. You think you're the best, and it's fine. It's the age. I don't blame young people. It does happen.
Absolutely. Yeah. It takes real guts.
Yeah, it takes real guts. And that's really beautiful. Like, we're working such impact-driven and such heavy things, I would say. Does it sometimes make you feel heavy, working at such, I know you're doing great work, but it's a lot of impact. Does it affect you emotionally? Could be good or bad.
I mean, I'd be lying if I said it didn't, but I also think it's just not about me. Do you know what I mean? Like if I feel a certain way after work because I've had an interaction with someone, I let myself feel it, but I also try not to dwell on it because it's not about me. Like whatever I'm feeling, the person that I've had the interaction with is probably feeling that 20, 50-fold. So I don't know. I don't know if that's an oversimplified answer, but it's just it's kind of just like not about me. So I don't.
No, that's a great way to take it. I'd say that's your mental state of taking things. Few people, they do let it affect them, and very different to you. But a friend of mine, she's a psychologist, and she does work with abuse and violence and all of those suicide and all of those cases as a psychologist. And it does affect her, but obviously she takes time away to to remove herself. She can't get emotionally attached to these things, and she's constantly talking to people who's experienced these things. And the worst thing is, she's like, she works for someone, but she's like, because the system is so, I'm trying to find the right word.
Overwhelmed.
Yes, overwhelmed, that it cannot help everyone.
Yeah.
And there is a particular procedure, like even if they want to go beyond a step, it's not possible because of the procedures, or that would not result in the right thing. So she just feels the heaviness of that as well sometimes.
100%. And that's a reality, right? Like that feeling is understandable, and the feeling is real for everybody who's in that position. And I think, I often think about the people that are working on the front lines, as it were, the people at HoMie, for example, working in our programs team who are having these conversations with people every day. And it is really challenging and it's really hard. But I think there's also a really interesting approach sometimes in nonprofit world that can be a little at times self-centering in terms of, this is what makes me feel good. This is what fills my cup. I do this because it helps me sleep at night. And I think it is important sometimes just to check in with that and go, this isn't about me. Like I'm going about work in a certain way the prerogative shouldn't be to make myself feel good. It's to get an outcome for somebody that really needs it. So it's an interesting balance, I think, that taking how you're feeling really seriously, and that vicarious trauma stuff that you spoke to about with your friend is super important, but then also being able to take a step back and go, I'm here to help the work. I am not the work.
No, I completely agree to that, because I'm not a not-for-profit, but I talk to a lot of people about their stories because we share stories at Humans of Australia. These are not necessary trauma stories or any of those stories, but so many times people have forgotten to reflect on themselves throughout the years because they're just busy going ahead, but they don't see what's behind. And I always talk to them about their story in a more reflective way and to get to know about everything, how I'm having a conversation with you. There have been times people have cried, sharing their experiences. It does get so overwhelming. And I'm like, shit, how do I manage someone who's crying? And it's over video calls. But I know what you're trying to say. At that point of time, I am there for them. But I separate myself from the work because I've done over 200 stories and I've heard so many stories. If I relate myself, I try to take the best of every situation and try to uplift myself and feel proud of the fact that I've been able to create a platform where everyone and anyone can share a story.
Yep.
You don't have to be the biggest of the people to be showcased on a media channel.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So,
and it's interesting, like when you talk about that kind of reflecting on your own story piece, because I think me 10 years ago was very like, I want to do this because it fills my cup and it makes me feel good. And now I've kind of come from the opposite direction, and it's like going to work isn't about filling my cup. It's about what's going on for the people. Like that is what should be centered. So it's an interesting reflection. Yeah.
Things change. I think all of us grow and we need to learn. And I think that's what's happened. And coming to that, how did you end up in HoMie? I'm so curious. I'm a big fan of HoMie. Just for the audience to know, I used to work right around the corner where HoMie was, and I used to always wonder what are they all about. And you'll have this free day of giving clothes to homeless people, and I'm like, who gives clothes to homeless people? I was like, this is something new, and now I'm sitting with the CEO of HoMie. So, and after that, I've seen so much more about HoMie. But how did you end up becoming a part of HoMie?
I have kind of a similar to you. I've been a super fan of HoMie for so long.
Okay.
Watched it from afar, thought it was incredible, and had always kind of thought about one day how cool would it be to be involved in that organisation.
Is it a not-for-profit?
Yes.
Okay.
HoMie's a non-profit and a social enterprise
at
the same time. And a job came up. So I saw an advertisement for the CEO at HoMie, and I looked at it and went, like there's no way I'm qualified for that. There's no way that I'll get that job. Like everybody does, right? All this
imposter syndrome. Yeah.
Particularly with women as well, right? Yeah. This imposter syndrome, like I don't have enough experience. They're not going to give me that job, but like I've got to give it a crack, right? I've got to throw my hat in the ring. The rest is history. I don't know. I fooled them somehow into hiring me, and it's been nearly 2 years now, and it's just like the coolest, weirdest, most amazing, incredible place I've ever worked. I can't get enough of it. I'm obsessed. I could talk about it forever.
Marcus, when I spoke to Marcus, he spoke so highly of you because nice. He was mentioning few names, and he's like, if it wasn't for Steph, we wouldn't be here. Or he mentioned some things like that.
Absolutely not true, but that's very kind of him.
But he did say something like, maybe not the right words. Please don't take my words in it. But he meant this. Okay, I'll say that. Because when I was like, is it just you or who started? So he mentioned one person, others, I can't remember. Someone else's name.
Nick, it would have been.
Maybe. Yeah. I can't remember at the top of my head. Yeah. Maybe Nick. And then he's like, Steph, who's CEO, she's also a very integral part of it. And, that's really helped us grow. So
HoMie's like, it's the kind of place that has got such a strong foundation of people who have been involved for so long that I almost felt like a bit of a fraud or a cheat or something coming in as the new CEO, and all of the really, really hard work at the beginning of getting a social enterprise up and running started. Yeah, getting everything set up from day dot, and all the incredible work that the team has done on the brand, getting it to a place where it's really recognizable, and we've got people wanting to be a part of what we're doing. Like a huge amount of credit goes to Marcus, Nick, Ellen, who's one of the founding team members as well, and Robbie, Darcy as well. There was this really, really strong crew who kind of started it all, and they're all still involved with HoMie in various different ways, and they always will be. I think they'll always be a part of the family.
I think HoMie is such a brand that once you become a part of it, you're so involved, and it just like you seep into it and you become a part of it as well.
Yeah, when people really, really care about the work they're doing, and it's the kind of workplace where I hate this expression, but it is kind of family, you know, we end up.
I hate that expression too. I'm just going to say that.
I hate it. It's so annoying. But we all really, really respect one another, respect each other's work and contribution to what it is we're trying to achieve. And we all work our guts out. And, you know, there's a lot to be said for that. I think we're all just, there's no ego at HoMie. It's a bit of a no dickhead policy. Like, there's no ego. Everyone kind of parks themselves and goes, what's our common objective here? What are we working towards? And it's crystal clear for us, and we're all kind of rowing in that same direction. It's really unique, really special place.
That's really beautiful. But just for the audience who don't know about HoMie, can you tell them what HoMie is?
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah.
So HoMie is a streetwear label and a social enterprise, and also a registered nonprofit. I'm wearing a HoMie team right now. So basically, and socks. Look at that. There you go.
Oh, I love that.
We're a streetwear label, and we operate in the same way that any other clothing label would. So we design and make all of our own streetwear, and we sell that streetwear in our store in Fitzroy, which is the store you were talking about earlier.
Yep.
And we've got an online store as well. And all of the profits from the sale of our streetwear go towards our mission, which is to support young people affected by homelessness or hardship to be more work ready and better prepared for their futures.
Oh, wow.
And how that kind of looks and how that comes together is we've got 4 impact programs that we run in-house. So we've got an in-house youth work team, and we do our VIP days, which is what you were referring to before as well.
Yes, it was called the VIP days. Now I remember. You put a poster in the store, right?
Yeah, so roughly once a month we close our Fitzroy store to the public, and we invite young people affected by homelessness or hardship to come in and shop for free, basically.
Yep.
So they can get 5 brand new items of HoMie clothing each. They get to choose it themselves, which is really important, that autonomy and that decision-making, being able to decide what you want to wear and what feels good on your body.
Yeah, that is so, like, as a homeless, I'm not experienced homelessness, but I'm just assuming as a person, if I'm not given the option of choosing my own clothes and someone is just giving it to me, it's a whole different feeling. And just thinking from a homeless person's perspective, now they're getting that decision power, makes them feel so much more empowered. Like this, it's a small moment of empowerment which can change them.
And it's a dignified shopping experience.
Yeah. And HoMie is made so like beautifully. If you visit the Fitzroy store, it is such a beautiful experience to just be there. It's not like a thrift store that just things are put together. It's really aesthetic. It's
brand new. The stuff is really good quality. And importantly, it's the kind of stuff that young people want to wear.
Yeah.
It's not a crappy hand-me-down from an op shop or whatever it is. It's brand new, really nice streetwear. So they can choose their own streetwear. They can customize it. We've got a little customization station where they can do whatever they want with it, put some little decals on it, kind of make it fun.
So cute.
We've got hairdressers there so they can get a haircut. We've got nail stations so they can get manicures, and it's fully catered, and it's just a really special day of connection and community for young people that are otherwise doing it pretty bloody tough.
Yep.
So that's VIP days.
How many people end up coming for your VIP days usually?
We usually have about 40 or 50 young people that come through throughout the day.
Okay.
And we connect with community service organisations to connect with the young people that might need access to that service.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we've got a couple of employment programs we run as well. So we've got our Pathway Alliance program, which is an 8-month-long education and employment program for young people affected by homelessness. So they work 12 hours or 3 shifts a week, either in the HoMie store or in one of our partner stores, which are Nike, Sports Girl, Amex, Pigeonhole, a few others. We've got
such great places to work at.
Yeah. Champion as well, and in previous years. So we've got job placements for the young people in those retail stores, and then they also study a Cert 3 in business and get that education component as well.
And do they have to pay for it?
Absolutely not. We pay them. We really, really firmly believe that any young person who is working with HoMie or is coming through our program should be paid for every hour they're with us. They're paid award wages. And they're also
What
paid,
is award wages? Sorry.
An award wage is like a regulated wage for different industries. So a retail award is regulated, and it says for however many years experience you have, you're paid at this rate per hour.
Okay.
You're paid penalty
rates. So according
rates.
to industry standards.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're paid for every hour they're with us, and they also get paid to study as well.
Okay.
So they're paid for the time that they're working on their Cert 3 in business too.
Okay. Wow.
So that's Pathway Alliance. Then we've also got a 10-week employment program as well.
Okay.
Which is obviously designed to just be a little bit shorter, a bit more of an accessible option for young people that are looking for something a little bit shorter, that might just need a bit of a circuit breaker, need some work experience on their resume, and an opportunity to have a reference, or just a foot in the door, really, an opportunity. And then we've also got our alumni program, which is a community and a network of young people that have been through one of our programs at HoMie, and we keep them in the fold and we keep them a part of the family, and we stay in touch with them. We have social events, and we provide opportunities for them to connect with other employment. So like we've got a job club that we run.
Okay.
So if young people are part of the alumni group and they're looking for their next employment opportunity, we've got that kind of safe network and space for them to come in and connect with job providers as well.
Oh, that is lovely. And that is so amazing. We should do one employment event together.
Yeah.
We just did Humans Who Hire that I was telling you about it.
Yeah.
So we'll edit this out, but I'll tell you what it is. Humans Who Hire, we did an event. I feel the whole hiring process is really shammy. Or it's everything online and AI based and all of these things. And even if someone has great experience, but if their resume is not the best, they don't get selected.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault. I've experienced redundancy. I've seen my partner being redundant. I've seen so many of my friends being redundant. And being an immigrant and being redundant or finding a job is a whole different layer, which I understand. Which lots of people do not understand because they don't understand visa issues. And I do. And so I can understand the perspective of an Australian, because obviously it would be similar.
Yeah.
But having that added layer also is what I understand.
Totally. Yeah, it's another layer of challenge, right?
And then being a person of color is also a challenge. Then being a woman is an added challenge. I forget about the whole woman part because being a person of color is that thing. First break that, and then the woman barrier comes to in my head. But yeah, that all happens. So then I understand all of these things like accent and experience. So I just wanted to make it a level playing field for everyone, be it job seekers, immigrants, international, recent graduates. They're unable to find jobs. And they spend so much money on education.
Yeah. Then you can't find anything.
Exactly. And you can't find a job. That's such a waste of like your time, effort.
Or you're expected to have like 5 years of experience for a grad job.
Oh my God, I know. My partner, he has 4 years of experience. He's studied 7 years of his life, 5 years undergrad. He did architecture.
Yeah.
So architecture.
So did my partner. Crazy.
Oh, nice. Back in India, architecture is 5 years. So undergrad, he did 5 years.
Yeah.
Then he did a master's for 2 years. Then he wasn't getting a job during COVID because we were COVID students. So we graduated in 2020.
Okay.
So what he did was, I told him my marketing brain, he stood outside of Southern Cross Station with a board saying that looking for a graduate architect, hire me.
No way.
He did that, and that's how he got hired.
No fucking way.
He stood there for like 2 weeks, like for like 2 hours each day. And then he got a job at Metro Train Melbourne.
What?
Yeah.
What a legend.
Yeah. It was very intimidating. And the day he stood, like the last day, because it takes a lot of guts. And so after 14 days, he's like, listen, I can't do this anymore. Because some people do say bad comments. Some people people might not hire you if you do all of these stunts and all of those things. So it was the last day we stood. And he used to stand. I used to just sometimes be afar, just like for support. If you see someone who you know, it's a little bit supportive.
Yeah.
And then he stood there and someone clicked his picture. That picture went viral on LinkedIn. Then the person who saw him, there was one person who saw him, but he had gone. He just saw and he went and he came back. By that time, my partner had left. But because of that post being viral on LinkedIn, that person found him. And that person became his manager.
No way.
And he got hired in a firm which only hires permanent residents or citizens. And he was a temporary resident because they really loved that he put himself out there.
What a story.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's a crazy one. Yeah.
Bloody hell. Well, good on him.
Yeah.
What a story. I'm like a bit speechless.
Yeah. But after that, he worked there for 3.5 years. And then he was made redundant because they were laying off. So he was placed at Metro Train Melbourne. They laid off 700 people because they went over budget and overtime and everything. So they laid off. Now, again, he couldn't find a job. And that's when he realized that even like his experience does count and education counts. And he's worked so much freelance after work as well to gain that added experience. People weren't ready to hire. They were paying 80 grand a with super. And he's like, and these guys expect me to do so much more work.
Yep.
And manager roles or other roles, are like, you need 5 to 6 years of experience. He's like, how can someone for this role, which pays 80 grand, have 5 to 6 years of experience?
Yeah. Architecture is...
He doesn't work in architecture.
Oh, he doesn't now? Okay.
He didn't work in architecture because he ended up getting... he works as a 3D modeler, like a BIM. I think you might understand these terms because your partner's an architect. 3D modeler.
Oh, right. Okay.
Okay, let's just put it as 3D modeler.
Yeah.
So he works.
Yeah.
But 3D modelers are also required in engineering firms.
Okay.
So he worked for Metro Trains as a design engineer.
Gotcha. Okay.
So now,
interesting.
Also he works as a designer, but for Harry the Hirer. Do you know Harry? Yeah. So he works as a designer. So it's using his architecture skills, but not doing architecture.
But not in architecture.
Not in architecture.
Okay.
Architecture just didn't pay. And plus,
brutal.
because he was a COVID student,
Yeah.
there were no architecture firms hiring.
Yeah.
And
there's hardly any work in architecture at the moment.
But anyway, getting back to Steph, and you were talking about the last thing was that y'all do the hiring event.
What was I saying?
There was this.
Sorry. The alumni group, alumni program, I should say. So we're starting Job Club, which means young people can be connected in, hopefully with kind of like what you're saying, right? With people that are looking to employ young people. So the biggest employer of young people in Australia is retail.
Yep.
So we want to get retailers together who might be looking to employ young people and kind of bridge that gap, because we've got this group of young people who have this work experience with HoMie on their resume and are ready to go on to the next thing.
Yep.
So if there's anyone out there who is looking to hire really, really great, skillful young people that are wanting to work, let us know.
Yeah. Where can they get in touch with you? Like, is there an email?
HoMie.com.au.
HoMie.com.au.
Come find us.
Yeah. I will put the link in the description below for anyone who wants to reach out.
Yes.
And what's been a part at HoMie that, you felt like, wow, I have like, this just like hit me and this felt heavy, but it felt beautiful.
The moment that really stands out for me at HoMie was we had a cohort of young people in our our Pathway Alliance program last year.
Okay.
And one of the young people put their hand up to come and advocate for HoMie at a really important funder meeting.
Okay.
So we had a meeting with this funder. We were pitching for further funding for the program. And this young person said, hey, I really want to come and speak to my experience about the program to try and secure this funding for HoMie. So we brought this young person in. They came into this environment, which is arguably pretty intimidating, right? Like,
for sure.
Someone from the board came in, there were people in suits, all this kind of stuff. And this young person came in and I've just never seen anything like it in my life. Like they came in and just spoke from the heart, stepped into their power. They were so confident and so sure of themselves and were so articulate about their life, what they want out of life, how their goals have shifted and changed, the way that the program had supported them to understand what they wanted out of life.
Yep.
And just to see the impact that HoMie's work had really genuinely had on this young person, and their confidence was so amazing. And they just smashed it out of the park.
And y'all got the funding?
Yeah, they single-handedly got us this funding. They just did such an amazing job. But it's not, it's not really about the funding. It's more just
people actually. So I know it's not about the funding, but it's about that y'all made an impact, be it through that person, that people believed in it, and that's why you got the funding. It's not just about the funding.
And they believed in themselves.
Yeah, they believed in themselves.
They really took this opportunity with both hands and stepped into it and absolutely nailed it, and just was so impressive. And you look at this young person and go, you just have such an incredible future ahead of you and so many good things to look forward to, which hasn't always been the case for that young person. So that was a really special one.
You're changing lives at HoMie.
I think, we're providing opportunities for young people to change their own lives. That's the way we kind of look at it,
Yeah.
All of these young people are so extraordinary and special and gifted in so many different ways. And people are dealt some really unfair cards in life. Oftentimes the young people we work with are, I'd say all of the time, they're in situations through no fault of their own.
Yep.
And all HoMie does is provide an opportunity, open a door, and the young people do all the work themselves. And they deserve every success that comes their way as a result of it.
I'm so sure there'll be so many homeless young people who might be thanking HoMie for creating these opportunities, or otherwise, it's just about that opportunity. It's where do you start from? That's the biggest question. You don't know where to start from. Being a homeless person, would someone even hire you or feel that you are good enough? And they're also, I'm so sure, doubting themselves, so they don't know what to say.
Yeah.
So thanks to HoMie for creating the space.
Yeah, there's so many challenges that are unseen for this cohort of people that we work with.
Yep.
And the leading cause of youth homelessness in this country is family and domestic violence.
Yep.
Which quite clearly is not the young person's fault. It's through no fault of their own.
Yeah.
This fastest growing cause of youth homelessness is lack of affordable housing. So there's just no housing available to young people who have any sort of complexity or anything else going on in their life. So if you pair all of those things together, and it's just really, really bloody hard at the moment. And all these fabulous young people need is that opportunity, and that's all we're doing.
True. Now that's beautiful that you've created this opportunity. I'd say that. Like, I've seen what HoMie does. I've spoken to Marcus. Now I'm talking to you and hearing such great things. It's just wonderful to hear. But Steph, about you are so involved with impact. Was there someone in your life that made you drive? Got you driven towards impact-driven causes? Like, did you have maybe it was your parents because they worked in healthcare and you saw them creating an impact? Did you have someone like this in your life? Or it was just life that happened and it drove you to impact?
I don't know. I don't think it's anyone. I can't really think of one person that shaped that for me. I think it's probably a combination of my upbringing and my parents' values, very values driven, very principle driven. Was always taught to do the right thing when no one's watching, that kind of attitude towards life, and just treating people with respect. It's really quite simple for me. It's respecting people, giving them the time of day, treating people the way you want to be treated. And not everybody is afforded the same opportunities that I was. I think that's a really big part of my value system and the way that I kind of view the world and see the world, as well as I'm just so conscious of my own privilege and all of the things that I've been afforded. And it's just not bloody fair. So I think I've got a responsibility as somebody that holds a lot of privilege to do something.
Yeah, I completely agree. I have these conversations with my partner and we're we as humans are our worst enemies. We create the difference with be it color, ethnicity, or status or economy, whereas all of us can just be the same and respect each other and live happily. We put all these things that if you have power, you have money, you buy. Money is important, 100%. You need to pay your bills. Everything is bought off money. I'm not saying that. But as humanity, we put so many more layers and everything and judgment towards each other, which kind of sucks.
So funny. Like I said before about one of the things we joke about at HoMie is just a no dickhead policy. And we'll often sort of say this to each other. It's just don't be a dickhead.
Yeah.
Just don't be I don't know. It's such an oversimplification.
No, I love
of
that.
A very complex answer. But I don't know. I think if we all just kind of chip away and do our best every day, the world would probably just be a bit of a better place.
I agree.
Just stop being a dickhead.
Yeah, and I think we'd save so much money. People go to wars and waste all that money. It'd be so much better. The world would be a better place. Tariffs, people are putting tariffs and things like that. It would be better. But whatever. Anyway, coming back to you, what's an advice for someone who wants to be a part of an impact-driven business? What's something that they should keep in mind? Could be good things or bad things, whatever.
I think I think anybody who wants to work in the impact space probably needs to be prepared for the fact that it can become all-consuming.
Yeah.
And it does sort of, it's not the kind of environment you work in where you have yourself and then you have your job. It becomes quite a bit of your identity. And it forms a big part of who you are and the way you see the world, and it sort of all bleeds into one a little bit. So that's it's a good thing in my view.
Yeah.
But it is different to working in a for-profit environment, I think.
Yeah, and it can get difficult as well. It's different, and it's not everyone's cup of tea. Everyone's made for different things, and you need everyone at different places. So it can get a little heavy, but it's how you take it.
Yeah, and it's really dynamic. It's fast-paced in a really different way because you're doing so many, because the resourcing is so tight and you're working off this Melbourne willy rag and you're trying to be as efficient as you possibly can be. It's very broad and not deep. So in another organisation where you might have many, many more roles that are specialised in specific areas, in non-profit world, in small non-profit world, I should say, it's much more broad. So you might be looking after 3 or 4 different things, where in another organisation you would have somebody in that specific role going very deep into it. It can feel at times a little bit like a jack of all, master of none kind of thing, which,
you know, there's the saying, there's a head of that saying. So I think it's jack of all trades, master of none, but he knows everything, or they know everything. It's something of those sorts. So you better know everything and try everything. No. So
it's I think the other thing as well kind of relates back to what I was saying before, is like being prepared to ask yourself the question all the time of why am I here, and being willing to answer that with, it's not about me. So there's a lot of people that are interested in working in non-profit or social enterprise with a very evangelistic attitude of like, I want to come in and save and be the savior. And it's probably a matter of just asking yourself the question, like, if I'm going to be here, and it's a little bit about you, but it's mostly about the work that you're doing and the mission that you're there to serve.
And as you mentioned earlier, it's not about filling your own cup. It's about filling someone else's cup.
Yeah. I think it's okay to be a little bit about filling your cup, but it also
gets filled automatically. It's a spillover.
Yeah, if that's maybe the driving force is the mission of the organisation.
My last question to you is, what's an advice for someone who's creating an impact-driven business? You've worked in multiple impact-driven businesses, and now you're a CEO of an impact-driven business, HoMie. So what's an advice you'd give to another brand that's growing?
My advice would be to get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable at all times. Because in an impact business, it can feel like you're on the hamster wheel all the time, you're putting out fires. There's so many different things going on all at once, and it's a constant state of discomfort, of feeling challenged in different areas, of feeling so deeply connected to a mission that you're not able to solve overnight. It's this enduring, never-ending feeling of discomfort, and just getting comfortable with that is the only path forward.
It's a long-term thing. It's a long vision, which happens step by step. It's like climbing a mountain. You're not going to reach today. It's going to take time.
And you're probably going to fall over and break your ankle and, lose a shoe and come across a bear. Like it's going to be like this.
Yeah.
It's never, ever just going to be like this or like this. It's uncomfortable and it's janky and it's messy and it's all part of the journey.
I think that is what even entrepreneurship is like. Once you start something, it's never going to be like you're just going to the top. Maybe some few businesses could be, but not all of them. So that's amazing. And I know I said last question last, but I suddenly just came up with what's next for Steph? Like personally and professionally.
What's next for me? I don't know. It's sort of a funny question because I don't really think in that way. I'm not really a I have a 5-year plan or a goal that I want to be at. My brain doesn't really work that way. I think if I wake up every day and I'm feeling good about what I'm doing, and I've got my cat and my dog and my partner, and I've got a roof over my head, I'm really grateful for the things that I do have. And I just love what I'm doing right now. And I can't, at this point, foresee a future without having HoMie in my life. So it's, I don't know. I just want to keep doing what I'm doing.
You know, it's actually really refreshing to hear this from you, because you're a CEO of a really big brand, I'd say. And when you see on social media, it's like, you know, you need a plan for 1 year in ahead and to get all of your goals and to do this. If you don't plan it, you're not going to be a good CEO, blah, blah. You see all of those reels and those TikToks is what I'm talking about. So it's really refreshing to hear this, that from a CEO, this is also okay. And it's not necessary to have those 1 year, 5 year, 10-year plans. Just focus on what's happening right now and grow from there.
Yeah, I would find that kind of suffocating or something. I've never been the kind of operator that has plans, or this is my dream job, this is where I want to be. I think like I said, if I'm waking up and I'm enjoying what I'm doing and I feel fulfilled and I'm doing something that I feel like has impact and meaning, then I'm good.
I'm so glad that I heard this, and that's why I do this, like to humanize things, because when you see on social media, it's so daunting, and I feel I can't plan. Like I want a plan, and I think of things like those overarching things, but I can't plan like what you see on social media. If you don't have this plan, you're not a good CEO, your business is not going to work. So it's so nice to hear this humanized version of it's okay to be a CEO like this, and you will grow, because I am a new budding CEO. So that is really, really nice. And I love what I do for these reasons.
Yeah, totally.
It was lovely talking to you, Steph. And it's been literally overwhelming listening to all of the experiences you've had. And it's so wholesome is what I'd say. And you're doing wonderful work. And I can't wait to see what HoMie does and what you do. I know you've not planned it, but I know you're going to do amazing.
We have plans for HoMie. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. Really loved the chat. It's really cool to just sit down and have a yap with somebody else.
We were just yapping, and both of us have like moved 360, I feel, in this chair and ended up in this position. Before we end with a rapid fire round. And if you do well and I like your answers, you get a Humans of Australia hamper, which is Anka Cookie Co. and Drop Out Chaiwala. Wow, so let's see. I should like your answers. I'm the judge of this.
Okay. Got it. The pressure's on.
It's easy. Don't worry. Easy.
I really want this gift pack.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
What's a fashion trend you secretly love but would never admit it publicly?
Socks and sandals. Love it. Amazing.
Okay.
I'm admitting it publicly. This is public.
It's a trick question. What's a quote or phrase you often use at work?
It's a joke.
Okay.
Building the plane while flying it.
Okay, got it. And that's your quote.
No, it's our previous CEO's quote, but we say it all the time.
Okay.
Actually, another one I always say is, it's a journey.
I think you could, like, get a vibe. That could be your quote. Your go-to Melbourne cafe order, no judgments.
My what order, sorry?
Your cafe order. Like
cafe order?
Yeah.
Like, what's for breakfast?
What's your go-to order if you go to a cafe?
I'm a vegan, which is kind of annoying for a lot of cafes because I don't eat eggs. But honestly, probably just apple on toast.
Yeah.
Toast.
And coffee, what's your coffee order?
Oat flat white.
Oh, I love oat flat white as well.
Yeah.
That's like perfect. What's a weird flex you're secretly proud of? I'm getting all your secrets out today.
This is like the stupidest thing. Okay, so you know when you cook and you've got leftovers?
Yeah.
And you're looking at it in the pot and you're like, oh, what size Tupperware container is going to work for that? I will always pick the right size Tupperware container.
Oh my God, I always pick the wrong size.
I can help you. I will always get it right. Like bang on.
Oh my God, I always suck with it. And I assume it's a lot. And I take this big box and I put it in, and it's like a small layer below and this empty box, and I have to put it in the fridge. And I'm like, oh.
It's the most niche skill, but I'm very good
That's
at
a superpower. I love that. Which reality show would you absolutely be, a fit for?
I would love to do Alone. You know that show on SBS where someone gets dropped?
And then you have to run around?
No, you get dropped in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
And you're allowed to take 10 items with you and you have to just survive.
Oh, that's
on your
intense.
own, alone. Yeah, it's wild.
It is wild.
Yeah, but like it's one of those ones where I think I'd be really good at it, but then I talked to my partner about it and he's like, you're an idiot, you would not survive. You would last like one day. But I don't know, I feel like I'd be good at it.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
SBS.
I was like,
Talk to
SBS.
me. Yeah.
You need a cool person. Try her out.
Give me a crack.
Yeah. And then HoMie could become your partners in it.
Yeah. Donate all of the winnings to HoMie.
Wonderful. SBS, you've got a cause and you've got a person.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe after this, you're getting like contracts from SBS and saying, hey, do you want to do Alone?
I know. They'll be ringing me off the hook.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
HoMie will be like, listen, where are you off to?
Yeah. I'm taking 3 months to go and sit in the wilderness.
Yeah.
And
that would be so good, like no work for 3 months. But anyway, going to the next question. What's your ultimate comfort movie or TV show that you can watch a million times?
I have watched the British version of The Office 100 times. It's perfect television. It's so good. Not the American version, the original British version with Ricky Gervais in it.
Okay, nice.
Unreal. Amazing.
Oh, amazing. Last question.
Ooh.
If HoMie could collaborate with any brand or any person in the world, who would it be?
I reckon if we got to collab with the NBA, that would be unreal.
Oh.
We've done AFL, we've done footy in Australia. We've done a collab with them, but I reckon if we can go to the big league, the NBA in the States, that'd be next level.
Guys, tag NBA till the time they don't get frustrated and go like, HoMie, okay, where are you? Let's collaborate.
Talk to us.
Yeah. Just tag HoMie, tag NBA, and NBA has to partner with them. I think that was pretty sweet and pretty wholesome, and you totally deserve this gift hamper.
Yay! I get it.
Yay!
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
feedback.
Steph, for being with us and
course.
sharing your insights and being so candid and being so unfiltered. And
Pleasure.
yeah. And that's a wrap. And don't forget to subscribe to us.